and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now has the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Road. I'm gonna bake me 2 Cornish hens. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm gonna top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only gonna top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, happy Friday to all of you out there. Tony Smith has his final vacation day. He'll be back on Monday. I'm Mike Dempsey. Tommy Mack's in studio. Dylan Denmark is here, and apparently it was haircut week for the crew on these parts, huh?
And you trumped us all.
Well, Tom,
you had it covered in the hat.
Tom came in, he said, I walked in, I said, give me the Dylan Denmark. And they buzzed it down. If you're watching on YouTube, buddy, there's barely any hair up on the top of that
you got them all cut
right there.
As
Like,
your Gramps used to say.
I did. Yes. Yes. A haircut, you got them all cut.
That's
Thank
right.
you. I did. So
it was time to cut it down.
It was time.
Summertime, man. It's
time
hot.
to clean it up. So,
Nothing better than short hair in the summertime.
It's not like anybody sees me other than, the YouTube audience, the streaming audience, and I usually have a hat on anyway. So what difference does it make? But Tommy Mack, it's Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, man.
So I know your dad holds a special place in your heart. We're going to talk about, dads in sports a little bit today. That'll be our question today in the background. Your favorite memories of sports memories with your dad or with your kids, for that matter.
Yeah, right.
As well,
Yeah, I've got a couple of those, absolutely.
So we'll get into
It's a great day. It's a great weekend. I always say it's Father's Day morning. You get the morning, and that's back to the regular dad stuff. It's all good. That's all we need.
I'm gonna do some family stuff in the morning.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna go visit the in-laws, see my father-in-law. I wish him a happy Father's Day, and then got a little afternoon tea time.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Guilt-free dad golf.
Yeah.
The family's invited.
Right.
They just
don't like
not
to
accept the
participate.
invitation.
Yeah.
My wife plays every once in a while.
I'll be on the beach probably with the fam.
All right.
Yeah, just chilling on a Sunday. We're playing Dad Bods tomorrow night, playing at the local in Neptune Beach, and we are debuting Man What a Life, my original song. It's going to be great the night before Father's Day to do it for the first time live. Should be pretty cool.
Awesome.
We rehearsed it the other night, and it felt great.
That's your original track.
That's right.
Yeah.
Song about my dad, and my mom's in there as well. She's part of the third verse, and it's a great tribute, man. So check it out, Man What a Life. It's on all the wherever you listen.
All your
wherever you get it.
Your music platforms.
Yep, it's all out there.
Dylan Denmark, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
What's up?
I don't know. Another day.
Father's Day weekend plans for you?
Hang out with my dad. I don't know what we're doing Sunday, but we're doing something.
Whatever he wants.
I think we're gonna go to his place and we'll probably just grill, hang out.
Yep.
Sister bring the baby.
Now, will your dad man the grill?
He'll do something. I don't know if he'll man the grill.
Okay.
It might be me or my brothers.
Okay, because I always wonder, some people just like to be the grill master.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
But
love grilling.
At the same time, if it's Father's Day, would you prefer to be in the lawn chair with your feet up? With the beverage of choice.
I don't know. I think I'm better in front of the grill. Although if they cook it inside, then they would take over for that, and I would just sit there and talk with them.
Yeah, whatever the case may
All
be.
good.
I hope everybody has plans for Father's Day weekend. Celebrate your dad or your children. Spend some time with you, whatever the case may be. Anyway, today, kind of wrap up some thoughts from minicamp. Mike Draco is going to join us coming up in about 30 minutes.
Cool.
From ESPN. Of course, D-Rock was out there for everything that's open to the media throughout the summer, but he's got a big piece on Travis Hunter up at ESPN.com that you can check out there, so he'll weigh in on stuff. We'll hear from Liam Cohen today, a little bit more from Trevor Lawrence and a few other selected Jags. Tony Baselli was on with Dan Hicken this morning, so we got a few thoughts from him.
Can he see anything from up high on the perch when he's looking at the third field?
I don't know about the third.
They don't have
field.
binoculars.
You know what, though? I bet his perch is better than field level unless you make the walk down to the third field.
Yeah,
you know,
I always make the walk.
Yeah, sometimes I
like the end zone view anyway. You can see a lot with that end zone view.
Were you out there yesterday as well?
I was until I had to go to the horse's mouth a little early, but I was out there for a little bit.
Basically out there the whole week.
Yeah, I went out there the whole week.
So what stood out to you, if anything, just in terms of intensity?
Our defense pretty much dominated. And it's hard to
was it the same case yesterday? Because a lot of people said the offense had a little bit of a bounce back yesterday. Not so much.
I don't know. Look, it's hard when you're not in pads. The linemen are, maybe taking a stab at you full speed and then maybe a step or two. It's just hard to determine. But I will say the D-line was in the backfield a lot, more so for day one and day two. Day three, I guess, was a little bit better, but I don't know. It didn't stand out too much to me. The quarterback, look, I think they just got to get used to the timing. And it wasn't just Trevor. They all made good throws, too, don't get me wrong, including Trev. He made some really good throws. Threw a really nice one across the middle to Brian Thomas Jr. yesterday in a crowded area. It was great.
I heard somebody describe that as he layered it in there. Is that the one you're thinking it was that, or is that maybe
he got it right over the guy's hands and right into BTJ. It was great. It was great route, great anticipation. And I know Trevor commented on that, but they got to get used to that when to throw the ball, because a few times, more than a few, they were late in throwing the ball, which gives the defender a chance to make a play. So that's just got to be a little bit quicker. But my first thoughts were that our defense, man, if they can really provide, I think our defensive front four, if they can really provide what it looks like. And again, you don't know because they're not in pads, and you don't know how good our O-line is. Maybe they're not good. I don't know.
Who knows? Right? It's the annual mystery, right? Are you Jaguar good because you're going up against some guys who are not the top of the league, or what?
Well, how many years have we gone through this?
Every year.
Von Hamilton dominated all throughout camp. Well, he didn't dominate in the regular season. Now things happen, but you just don't know. You don't know how good they're going against. I tell you what's going to be interesting for me is I'm really wanting to see what kind of camp Liam is going to run. How physical are they going to be? Now, they can only be so physical, right? You can't get guys hurt. But how physical are they going to be? Because I don't know how you evaluate, your offensive line. You can't evaluate them off OTAs and minicamp because they got worked pretty good in minicamp, in my opinion. Not every down, but enough to where you're like, okay, that would have been a sack or maybe a sack or a hit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Run game, you can't really. I'm not judging them.
Let me ask you specifically, Anton Harrison. We talked about him yesterday. Are you concerned at all, or what do you make of Liam Cohen's comments when he said he can go when he wants to?
Well, it goes back to what I've been thinking about this team for a couple of years, that attitude. How bad do you really want to be great at your position? And I think that's what he's saying. He's saying the guy's got all the tools in the world. He should be our starting right tackle. But it's up to him. He's got to show consistently that he wants to get better. Look, that Adoga's coming in to win that job. He ain't giving. He's fighting for that job, man. And and again, without the pads, you don't know. The pads become the equalizer, and then we're going to see who's physical and who's not. I'll tell you who was really impressive yesterday, Debs. Or was it 2 days? It was 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago. Who picked it? Antonio Johnson picked off. I think it was Trev. Whoever it was like a deep throw in the end zone. He picked it off. It was like kind of a center field pickoff. And he starts running it back. And half the guys aren't paying attention. Half the guys are kind of chasing him. A couple guys are really chasing him. Well, he takes off out in the open, and big old Fred Johnson starts running. And let me tell you something. He didn't catch him, but he looked pretty damn fast. I was like, holy cow, that guy is pretty fast for a big dude. So a big athletic left tackle. I don't know what happens with him. I want to see him in pads, right? He's got every opportunity. Go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, I think Walker right now is the guy, but we'll see what happens.
Look, that came because we noted that. People talked about that. He had mentioned one of the things he liked, I think particularly about Fred Johnson, was watching guys. Like, you can't see, like you said, the physical play at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
What you can see is if the quarterback completes a short pass, which lineman is busting his hump to get 10 yards downfield to throw a block.
Right.
And Fred Johnson kind of stood out right in the midst of Liam Cohen talking about that kind of thing. So it's something to watch for, Like you said, everybody's got a mostly clean slate. I mean, you've got your film that they've got an opinion and evaluation of you coming in, but you got a chance to make your mark right here. By the way, yesterday's question of the day, expectations for Anton Harrison in his third year, ended up being in a fight for his job, won the poll at 43.5%. Unquestioned starter got 39.5%. Pro Bowl level player got 13.5%, and then 3.5% said he'll be a backup. Just, forget the fight for your job. Yeah. Maybe he'll be in a fight initially, but they expect him not to win it. We'll see. Yeah. I do think he'll be in a fight for his job. Like most of these guys should be, with a handful of it. Like Josh Hines Allen's not in a fight for his job.
No.
Right? There are a handful of guys that are not. Yep. Brian Thomas Jr. is not in a fight for his job.
Right.
But then again, they show up every day anyway, right? And
they practice like
they earn it again every single day, So,
absolutely.
All right, we got Tom McManus here. We'll look back on the week that was at minicamp. Got some audio coming up your way from Liam Cohen and others that we didn't get a chance to get to yesterday. If you want to be a part of the program, you want to weigh in on today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, asking what is your favorite sports-related memory you have with your dad or with your child if you're a dad yourself. You can hit us up on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines at 641-1010. Same number for the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat. Hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at Meathead55, and at 1010XL Denmark.
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Yeah, I saw you tweet that out last night. You were, I guess, wrapped up in it. What was it, the first time in like a century or roughly that a team on the road came down from 3 goals down on the road in the Stanley Cup final?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who won last night?
Not
Edmonton.
Florida.
Edmonton
the
won.
Oilers.
They
were down
now
3.
It's tied.
Florida Panthers scored to tie. So Florida was up 3-0. Then Edmonton took the lead 4-3. Florida Panthers scored a tie at 4 with 19 seconds left, and then Edmonton won in overtime.
Oh, I couldn't tell you a single player who plays for Edmonton. I could probably name about 6 Oilers, though, from the Gretzky era.
Oh, yeah.
Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
All right, I wouldn't have known that he played for Edmonton, but I've heard the name, so.
He took a shot the other night, man. Holy cow, was that a hit and a half. That I tell you, I've had plenty of hits in football, but that, gosh, on skates, it must be unbelievable to light somebody up. With barely any pads and just, you're going like, what, 20 miles an hour? Maybe 25?
These guys get wrecked.
Ooh,
there's no question about it.
Better than a car wreck.
Somebody on the text line got a look at you, I think, Tom, and said, damn, has T-Mac ever had a mohawk?
I have in the past. Not a real mohawk.
Okay,
no.
They said the guess was yes in the 80s. You would have been a youngster in the 80s.
I did have a Boz haircut. I loved. Okay. I thought Boz was the man.
How high did it stick up?
Not as high as Boz, no. But I didn't have the rat tail either. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's kind of like a mohawk.
Now you've kind of followed the Boz formula, though. Linebacker, right? Play in the NFL, and then you're an entertainer, right? Boz was an actor. You've dabbled in the script writing.
Have you seen his documentary?
I don't know if I have.
It's interesting because all you remember about Boz in the pros is getting run over, and then he did get beat, obviously, but twice. But he had an incredible year, and then he hurt his neck. I mean, he was up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't remember any of that. Like
I don't really recall it that specifically.
Because you remember the Bo Jackson
plays. Is it still available?
I think so, on Netflix. I think
I might check that out. I think you mentioned it to me before. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Cool.
Anyway, as we head into Father's Day weekend, we'll have U.S. Open leaderboards for you throughout the course of the show today as well. So keep it right here. Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus, Dylan Denmark. We got you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know what? If you're driving around with Dad, maybe you're heading to the golf course this weekend with dear old Dad. Swing into an area gate station. You can load up your cooler with goodies from Dandy, something that Dad's going to love. I love them. I'm a dad. I love that tuna salad, but, man, they've got a little something for everybody. Boom Boom steak subs, meatball subs, breakfast items like country sausage biscuits, light lunchtime wraps, gourmet salads. They've got just a wide variety. And the great thing about Dandy is, they don't skimp on anything. The highest quality ingredients they can find. That's all they use, but somehow still manage to keep the prices reasonable. Great variety. You're going to find gate stations all over town, so swing in, fill up your tank, maybe fill up your belly a little bit too with some of those wonderful offerings from Dandy. Duval's all spread out when you're driving anywhere. Good to have that little energy. A protein pack from Dandy can have your back as well. When you're hungry in Duval, folks, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy and do it today.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Three men, three opinions, 2 to 4 weekdays, one good time. Execute. XL Prime Time. Afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. Have you been charged with a crime? You don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW in the 904.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracts. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through June 30th. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference. For 100 years, service you can trust. Lee and Kate's Glass, depend on us. Glass solutions to meet your needs. Reliable quality guaranteed. Complete customer satisfaction. With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hello. The Checkmate Coatings phone line has you covered from the floor up. From tough sports topics to strong surfaces, Checkmate Coatings is your floor's missing piece and your connection to the sports world on 1010XL.
June is Men's Health Month. Be proactive towards your prostate, ED, low T, even kidney stones with Ackerman Urology. Offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, the Beaches, and World Golf Village. Trust the men's health experts at AckermanUrology.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Have you been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder? You may qualify for a new clinical research study. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso is now enrolling participants to evaluate the effectiveness of a non-opioid medication treatment option for OUD. Qualified participants will receive study-related care at no cost and may be eligible for reimbursement of travel and accommodations. To qualify, applicants must be 18 to 65 years old, have been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder, and have not been on medication to treat opioid use in the last 3 months. The study lasts up to 22 weeks, with weekly visits during treatment. If you're ready to explore a new path forward, visit OUDstudy.com for more details and qualifications. Take the first steps and visit OUDstudy.com. That's OUDstudy.com. OUDstudy.com.
It's Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jax Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jax Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Plumbing problems? AC not blowing? Septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. Waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
He's a great leader. He tries to help, the younger guys, even the vets in the room, try to make sure we're all on the same page. So I think he leads by example, and he knows his stuff.
That's Basil Tootin, who apparently turned on the Jets yesterday and showed off that speed a little bit. We'll see how that all works out. And I've been hearing, Bigsby getting a lot of run with the first team offense.
He looks good.
So,
looks good.
We'll see how it all plays out with that backfield now, and we'll have more from Jaguar practice. Let me just throw a few scores out there. If you're interested in the U.S. Open, we will have leaderboard updates coming up now every 10, 20 minutes or so. I guess beginning next hour, Dylan, is that right?
That is correct.
All right, so about 11:30. I'm wrong about that. I'm about an hour early on that. J.J. Spawn, the overnight leader, remains the leader at 4 under. T-Law, right behind him, though.
Wow, look at that.
This guy.
I didn't know he could do that. He can play golf, too.
Tristan Lawrence of South Africa is 3 under par, and he has yet to tee off today. On the court, Victor Hovland just had a bogey. He was 4 under on the day at 3 under. He's now 1 shot behind that. He and Sam Burns and Sewoo Kim are tied at 2 under par. Scotty Scheffler birdied his first hole today, then had a string of pars. Then he's bogeyed 2 of his last 3. He's at 4 over par. Brooks Koepka had it to 3 under. Then he had back-to-back bogeys, and he is at 1 under par. So the carnage continues up at Oakmont right now. I've got, I see Colin Morikawa's even through 9 today.
I like when it's like scores like that. You know what I mean? I don't like when they're double-digit wins. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't want. I wouldn't want it every week, but I like
the majors.
To see them. That this is if we went and played a relatively hard course, right? Like for an amateur playing from the white tees. Yeah. This is what they experience when they play from the tips with 5-inch rough.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Right, sure.
Did you have Rasmus Neergaard Peterson in your pool?
No, sir, I did not.
He's even right now. A good old Rasmus Neergaard Peterson. Don't know. And he's right behind Rasmus Hogard. There's a couple of Rasmuses who are even par right now. So there you have it. All right. Let's get to the phones here first, Tommy. We got plenty from Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence we're going to hear today. Mike Draco about 10 minutes away from joining us from ESPN. He was out of camp all week. Our friend Regina going to lead things off this morning on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. Regina, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Duval! What's up?
First of all, happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the Jaguars fandom. And I wanted to ask Tom, dovetailing off your comment, that nobody's job is secure. Do you think that'll lend itself to, there's also already been some chippiness with Mason Smith that was reported. And do you think, Tommy Mack, that there'll be more injuries? Or do you think Cohen will just make sure that doesn't happen? I'll take your comments off the air. Go Jags.
Go Jags.
Go
Thank you,
Jags.
Regina. Good question.
Yeah. First of all, I like the chippiness. I think that's good for a team. And they wasn't that big of a deal. There were no punches thrown on. It didn't seem like. It was more like shoving and pushing. And Mason, he gets heated pretty quick, which is good. I don't have no problem with that as long as he, like Regina says, doesn't get hurt, doesn't hurt nobody, that kind of thing. Look, I'm really if I have a concern going like after watching the whole offseason, the O-line would be number one. I just don't know. I can't sit here and be like, wow, these guys are going to be really good. I'm not saying they're going to be bad either. I don't have that feeling either. I don't really know. You know what I mean? I would have liked to seen them hold off the D-line a little bit better than they did, And again, without pads, it's really tough to determine who's going full, who's not going, you know what I mean? Who's playing to the end, it's just different. But there were plenty of times where the D-line was in that backfield when they shouldn't have been. So that can all change with a good training camp, the guys that are physical, if they're going to have a physical camp. But I don't know. I mean, I walked away from, like, yesterday's last mini camp. I walked away like, I don't know how I feel about the team. I'm excited for them. I'm excited because it's a new year.
But it's tough to evaluate
But I'm
at
not
this
sitting here
time
going,
of year.
yeah, this team's
right,
going to be really
you.
good. I haven't seen that yet.
To Regina's point, though, when you've got, like, in 95, right, everything's new for the Jags. Everyone's scrapping for a spot, right?
Yeah.
Expansion team. Some guys, yourself, this might be your one chance to latch on.
Last chance,
right? And that's probably the case for some guys on the 90-man roster every year.
Yeah.
But by 99, you got a more veteran-laden team where roles are more clearly defined. There's still some spots up for grabs. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard Sirs talk about you get an overzealous young player in there, and you're like, whoa, slow down, Rook. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is a time and a place for everything. So in that environment where maybe we feel like, again, we're not saying every job, certainly. Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Josh Hines Allen. Certain guys are expected to carry a large part of the load. But on the offensive line, where no job is necessarily cemented right there, does that create an environment where guys try to do too much, or is that counterproductive to their own chances?
Well, first of all, the rookies tend to go harder than the veterans when the pads aren't on. That's when you're like, yo, take it easy, man. We're not even in pads. The pads are a great equalizer. And if a young guy's going too hard, you think, well, there's a way to stop that. You show him the real you, and then
butt him up a little.
Yeah, you think if you can do it, maybe he can. Maybe he's really
maybe
legit.
he's the real deal, and you're like, okay, then.
Yeah, right. Never mind. Do what you want. No, but they'll handle that with pads. That's what's great thing about pads, and that's why I said back to what I'm hoping Liam does have somewhat of a physical camp, because I want to see these guys perform with their full pads on. I want to see the aggressive nature. Their front four looks really good, like I said, but I just don't know how good yet because I don't know what they're going against. And
I've heard Ogba's looked pretty good, too.
He has, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Ogba's looked good. Mason's looked good. D-Ham's been out there. Now, again, it's no pads, but he's been fine. The ends have been really good. I mean, they look good. They look primed to have they look like they're in good shape.
Amazing when you put them back to their fighting weight, what they're able to do. You know, like they're more their comfort zone weight as opposed to trying to build them into the latest
whatever they were
Cameron
trying
Jordan.
To do. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I don't know how much Trayvon's dropped. He looks kind of the same.
Yeah, I think he's dropped some though.
I think Josh, you can tell the
Definitely.
difference. Devin, you could tell. Devin Lloyd, you could tell has dropped. Some girth. Which good. It's all about speed and quickness in today's game, so nothing wrong with that.
All right, Regina, appreciate the call as always, and we'll step aside here. Tommy, we got D-Rock on the way.
All right.
Mike Draco of ESPN. Give us his thoughts on what he saw out over the course of the week at Jaguar camp and see if he, like you, is still – maybe I think it's an unanswered question on the offensive line, but is that an area of concern? I would say concern is like – I'm not worried, but it's something to pay attention to. Like it's something that is unanswered to me.
I'll tell you what,
we don't know the combination of players that it's going to be on that line.
If I felt today like they're going to have just a good offense, maybe not the best in the league or top five.
Middle of the pack.
Or even a little bit better than that,
Okay.
12th, 10th, something like that. I'd be like, this team's going to have a great year. I'd say that. I'd feel that confident about the team.
Then the potential is there. We don't know.
There is potential, right.
I mean, there's certainly a lot of new bodies there, and we'll see if they brought in the right ones. All right, we'll take a time out here. If you want to be part of it, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. What's your favorite sports-related memory you have with your dad or with your child if you are a dad yourself? This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. Lap times, tire pressure, and track bar adjustments.
Oh, he's going to get loose.
Sunday in Mexico City.
Bubba Wallace slides up in the outside lane.
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pool. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Hey, John, have you seen the exciting 2025 lineup at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique. It's a Cadillac lover's dream.
And the best part, over 100 new Cadillacs are in stock and ready for you to drive home today.
Plus, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and experience luxury and performance like never before.
Visit us today at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on these incredible vehicles. Your new Cadillac awaits.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
What does your dream backyard look like? Hey, it's Joe C. and my friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can design an outdoor kitchen layout custom built to your taste and lifestyle. You dream it, they can build it. CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Visit cssoutdoor.com.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
We've all seen great overtime games and thrilling finishes, but when it comes to having a big time, knowing when to say when is key. Budweiser reminds you to win the day and night by designating a driver. That's a victory every time.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
For
certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
The NBA playoffs are here, and there's no better place to catch the action than Hurricane Grill and Wings. With slam dunk specials like $3.75 Miller Lite drafts, plus fresh, never frozen wings in over 30 flavors, and big screens everywhere. This is your home for all the games. Handcrafted cocktails, bold flavors, big plays. Don't just watch the games, experience them at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, you know it's true if you hear it from Mike Draco, ESPN Jaguars reporter and one of our in-season co-hosts of Jaguars Today here on 1010XL. Mike Dempsey, Tom McManus still in Denmark here with you, and we're joined now by our man D-Rock. Mike, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are all you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Doing great, Mike.
Happy early Father's Day to you, D-Rock. Do you have a favorite Father's Day sports or a favorite father-son sports memory with your dad or with you and any of your kids?
Oh, wow. Way to put me on the spot.
Yeah,
there.
well, you know,
appreciate that.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, probably, I guess the one with my dad would probably be my first Little League game and how, excited he was to watch me kind of running around out there. That still kind of sticks in my head, from way back 150 years ago. I think that's the one that just comes to mind really quickly, just because it was, first game. I'm nervous. I'm sure he was nervous. All of us who've had kids that have played sports and their first time they're up at, in whatever sport, especially up at bat when you're 6 or 7 years old and you're, really don't know what you're doing and how nervous you are. Yeah, so I think that probably sticks out, and how, the big smile on his face, after that game.
Yeah, dads are great, no question about it. D-Rock, great to see you out there at minicamp and OTAs. How you feeling overall about the team, brother? I was just telling Dem, so I'm I'm excited for the team, obviously, but at the same time, man, I just don't know, how I totally feel about this team just yet. How do you feel overall about them?
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat, Tom, or in the same boat, Tom. I like the changes that have been made, especially on the offensive line, and especially, with the playmakers that they've added with De'Ami Brown and Travis Hunter and some of those running backs. But, yeah, I just don't know how it's all going to fit together because, the one thing that they've talked about is, this team is going to be physically and mentally tough. That's what they have to become. And we all know that starts with the offensive line. Mm-hmm. And until we see those guys in camp, I'm not really going to know, and none of us will really know if they have improved in that area. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to be better defensively just because I think the addition of Anthony Campanile is going to make a huge difference. But if they're not more physically and mentally tough on that offensive line and in offense, then I'm not so sure that this offense is going to be any more functional than it was last year.
D-Rock, we've all kind of focused on that group, right? And they bring in Hainsey and Macari, and I think it's a safe bet that those two are starting, opening day because they went out and sought them out and brought them in. But for the incumbent starters, Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland, Anton Harrison, who's going to get the toughest battle in training camp for their spot, in your opinion?
Well, I would have told you Ezra Cleveland before minicamp, but now I'll probably tell you Anton Harrison. I mean, it's never good when the head coach says when he wants to go, he can go.
Right.
That's sort of a little bit of a red flag. He's been in and out of the lineup and in and out of practice, throughout some OTAs and minicamp. And we saw Chumadoga working a ton at right tackle with the first team unit there. So, that's the guy that I think going into fall camp that I would be like, ooh, I'm not sure. He's got to be significantly better than he has been. And I still think that, Wyatt Milam's going to end up as the starter at left guard. So it's possible that they could open the season with 4 new starters on that offensive line, that's a crud ton of turnover. I'm going to have our, stats people look into this, but how many times has a team rolled out their offensive line with 4 brand new starters from the previous year?
Yeah. Well, and you could argue that why wouldn't they if it couldn't get the movement they're looking for in the run game and all that stuff? But still, for a position group that relies on continuity, it's not something you want to have happen. Mike, how much did it stand out to you that Liam Cohen made that specific comment? I just don't remember much of that, kind of sending a message through the media. I don't think he necessarily got up there with the intent of doing it. I think he answered it honestly, but we just haven't heard that much. Even like with Bajal Tootin this week, he was asked about it. He said, he's a work in progress in pass protection, but it wasn't like he wasn't getting after it, right? I mean, that's to me why this stood out more than anything from Liam Cohen.
Yeah, and we don't know, honestly, how he operates in terms of that kind of stuff and whether he does want to send messages to players through the media, because he's not been a head coach before. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what he said in 99.9999% of his press conferences and media availabilities as the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. But, I mean, it was one of those things where you're standing around and you hear it and you go, whoa, okay, there's the message. And, I think just in the times that we've had him now in the spring, I just think he answers stuff honestly up at the podium. Yeah. And I don't think that he has any ulterior motives, or I don't think, he said to himself, if someone asks me about Anton Harrison, I'm going to send this message. I just think he's an honest guy at this point. And, he's not going to he's not going to give us any kind of false answers or false narratives. He's going to tell it like he sees it, and the way he sees it, Anton Harrison better pick it up.
Yeah, I feel like it's genuine too. I mean, even when Tootin a week ago or whatever it was, he's like, well, he put the ball on the ground. He's asked a question, he answers it honestly. I think he's been honest with the players. I mean, Trevor came out very early talking about his footwork, how it needs to improve, and flipping his hips and all that. And I think that comes from Liam Cohen just being honest with his assessment. You talk about being physically and mentally tough. D-Rock, what kind of camp are you expecting? Are we going to – I mean, it can only be so physical, I get it, in today's practices, but are we going to see some banging up front? What do you think the kind of physicality Liam Cohen is going to bring to his first training camp?
Yeah, I think it's going to be as physical as they can get. I think that, let's not forget, big old 71 is involved in this too pretty heavily. And, I think it has to be. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, if you're going to say we're going to be a physically and mentally tough team, well, then you better hit a lot. Yep. And you better have a lot of live, periods, some tackle to the ground periods and that kind of stuff. So I think it has to be because you have to find out. The whole thing was like they couldn't stop 3rd and 1. They couldn't get 3rd and 1. Well, how do you know if you're any better at that? You're going to wait until the opener? Because then if you can't, you're in real trouble. So I think they will be pretty physical, and they'll hit a lot, as they should, And look, he's got to find out about his guys, not just that offensive line. Is that defensive line physically tough? Is Devon Hamilton any better?
Right.
Just looking at the guys like Josh and Trayvon, you kind of go, okay, they lost some weight, and it looks like they're, Trayvon looks amazing.
Yep.
And so you kind of have an idea about those guys and what they're going to be. But some of those other guys, hey, what's it going to look like? And they better be physical this camp. I really do think that's probably the number one priority.
Yeah, I think conditioning as well, D-Rock. I think they got to run these guys. I don't want to see Mason Smith being tired after 3-4 plays. That's the thing that you get. Like, could you right now? You don't need to do it right now, but could you go run a 9-play, series, a drive, and then stop them, and then come back 3 plays later? That's the kind of conditioning you got to get into. So hopefully they can get to that level.
Yeah, totally agree. You're opening up here at home. Last year they opened up in Miami. So it's going to be hot. 1 o'clock, and, get them ready. And I think, we look back to 2017, and that was the year that Doug Marrone pushed that group really, really hard in camp. And, we saw the difference it made from the year before and even the year after, because he backed off in 2018. So I fully expect it to be as tough of a camp as you can get it under the current, rules and regulations.
Yeah, Tony Baselli said as much this morning when he joined Dan Hicken. We'll hear from him in the second hour, but that was basically like whatever they allow us to do, we'll go right up to that line was kind of the message here. Mike Draco at
says the guy who doesn't have to toe the line up there anymore.
Hey,
he doesn't have to bang in the heat anymore.
But he paid his dues. All the guys who played in the 90s, they paid their dues on that front. D-Rock, you did a big piece on Travis Hunter that's available now at ESPN.com. We encourage folks to go check that out. And you asked a number of players and coaches about their impressions of him, how much he's improved since they first saw him, what makes him so good. Was there one answer in particular that really made you go, that's an interesting way of looking at it, or that's some pretty high praise?
The one they all talked about, his Energizer Bunny energy and, his enthusiasm and all that other stuff. But the one thing I think that stood out to me was when Liam Cohen, and I'm actually trying to find the quote right now from Cohen, he's physically grown. He's like, they've had weight room accomplishments and goals that they wanted to get done this spring. And he was one of the guys who put on some muscle mass getting there. And now look, he's working on both sides of the ball. He's spending a ton of time in meetings on defense as well as offense. He's a rookie, and we all know that rookie circuit once the football season ends, and, especially when you're on the awards banquet, and then you've got interviews and you've got the combine, and it's just a physical and mental grind for these guys. So for this kid to come in here and be here for roughly about 2 months and make some significant strides in the weight room, enough for him to be mentioned as one of the guys that did that the most, that's the most impressive thing to me. And maybe I'm wrong there, but to be able to be that, I guess that involved on both sides, both the physical and mental side, it still managed to get a lot of work done in the weight room in such a short period of time. That, to me, was the most impressive thing.
D-Rock, any concern for you that Travis Hunter has not gotten his contract done?
No, not like Shamar Stewart level concern for sure.
Obviously.
Yeah. No, not really. If we get to, the week before camp, then I might,
too. Yeah.
start being like, wait a minute. Now, I think rookies and quarterbacks were supposed to report the 19th. So that, if we're looking at July 18th and it's still not done, then the concern ratchets up, but not right now, no.
All right, let's talk defense real quick. The front looks good. We'll see how they do when the pads come on. I think the backers are going to be fine. I like the corners, especially if Tyson can stay healthy, because he's looked really good. I guess safety would be the one concern. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but who do you think will be the starters at safety going into 2025 this year? What do you think?
Going into camp, I think we're going to see Murray and Dewey.
Yep.
But going into, I know they would like Ranshaw to win that that starting job alongside Eric Murray. But, obviously that depends on what happens in camp. So I'm going to stick with Dewey and Murray at this point. Yep. But the original plan, once the draft was done, was for Ransaw to win that job and allow Dewey to spend the majority of his time on special teams where he's, one of their best players for sure, and some spot work at safety. So I think that's the way they'd like it to play out. And, obviously we'll have to see if it does. But, Dewey's an experienced, smart player back there. Yep. If you had to start him, do you lose some things physically? Yeah, but I can guarantee you this, he's going to be in the right spot at the right time, and he's not going to get, caught up in any eye candy and chasing guys out of zones and stuff like that. So you could do a heck of a lot worse than having Dewey back there at safety.
So, Mike, if that was the original plan, is the plan somewhat changing because Dewey's just forcing their hand by playing well, or is Ransaw not quite as far along as they hoped he would be at this point?
No, I don't. I've not heard that he's not quite as far along. Look, these kids' heads are swimming. Like I said, talked about, what Hunter went through. It's the same thing for this kid. And now you're here and you're trying to pick up this defense and trying to adjust to being in the NFL. That's not, Dewey's what, a 6-year veteran. So it's not a surprise to me that he's working there. Mm-hmm. At all as a starter at this point. So I don't have any concern about it yet. Now, again, let's see how it plays out over the 6 weeks of camp, but I'm not concerned about Ransaw at this point, no.
All right. Mike Draco, we're not concerned about him. He's got a great piece up on Travis Hunter. We encourage you to go check that out and all D-Rock's work over at ESPN.com. You can find him on Twitter at ESPN Draco. You'll find him in studio with us next Thursday as long as nothing pops up between now and then. D-Rock always...
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
You might get a big assignment.
It's my last week before vacation. You're trying to jinx this stuff?
No, I'm just saying, things happen, man. Like news breaks. You have a primary job.
We
ESPN
don't mention that.
All
we
right.
don't talk about that. That is like he who must not be named. We don't mention that guy's name. We don't, Voldemort or whatever the heck it is. We don't mention unless news breaks, because then now that jinxes me, and then now I'm not gonna be able to hang out with you.
No breaking news will happen, folks, in the next 6 days. So now you've had a peek into the future. Mike Draco will be here next Thursday under any and all circumstances. Joining myself and Tony. D-Rock, have a happy Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, man.
You guys too. Enjoy it, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right. There he goes, Mike Draco. I'm not trying to jinx you, bro. He does that. D-Rock said he's stacking his vacation like 3 weeks in a row coming up.
Okay.
One after another. So he wants to get through next week.
Yep.
And get in here, chop it up with the fellas, and then not be thought of for nearly a month.
I'm not going to be surprised if Wingard is the starter either. And I don't think it has anything to do with Ransaw. I think he's making plays.
He's made plays, right? He has made plays. And that's why I kind of asked it. It feels like Dewey's like, hey, you can overlook me all you want. I'm just going to go out here and play well and put myself in a good position. So at least it gives them options.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And we'll see. And by the way, talking about contracts, have you seen this? 40 draft picks are unsigned, okay? 30 of them are in the second round because the first 2 picks of the round got fully guaranteed deals for the first time ever. So nobody else in the second round has signed. They want to see, I don't know who had the third pick of the round. Whoever had that third pick, if he gets a fully guaranteed deal, the guy with the fourth pick's going to want it, and on down the line. Right. So not a single, 30 picks in a row, that block, none of them is signed. There are only 10 others. Including Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it worked out well for the Jacks not to have a second-round pick this year.
Yeah, no kidding.
For at least that particular reason.
I don't blame him. I mean, if you're the third guy in the second round, you're like, well, I won't guarantee one.
There, and it's never, it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper, but how far is this going to go? If you're the 64th pick in the draft, are you going to get a fully guaranteed 4-year deal? I don't think so.
No. I wouldn't think.
So anyway, but that's what's happening right now. All right, we've got the second hour on the way, Tommy. We'll hear from Liam Cohen. We'll hear from Tony Baselli, Trevor Lawrence. We'll get to as much as we can in hour number 2 as we head into Father's Day weekend with plenty of U.S. Open leaderboard updates for you as well. With Tom McManus and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Jaguars Today rolls on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
And drainage too.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. There was a time when the hard-working people of Jacksonville needed something to look forward to.
Let the games begin!
1010 10XL. We didn't invent sports, just sports radio.
It's graduation season, a time to celebrate the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new story. At Diamonds Direct, we believe moments like these deserve to be remembered beautifully. Honor your graduate with a timeless gift, a birthstone ring, a classic pendant, diamond studs, or an heirloom piece they'll treasure forever. No pressure, all sparkle, and expert guidance every step of the way. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out The Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At The Y, summer camps every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Prosser here. Get those boats ready. The Daly's Old School Kingfish
Shootout presented by Yellowfin is almost here. It's Saturday, June 14th. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com to find out more. The grand prize is a Yellowfin bay boat worth $125,000, and with limited boundaries, no bait buying, and no checkout, it is seriously old school. Here's how you do it. You go online, you sign up, and you become part of what was always a terrific tournament. It's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. oldschoolkingfish.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. You're on-road, you're off-road, now you're on the water. Greg, tell everybody what Coach and Honda is offering in the form of boats.
We've got the Honda boat, which is a great runabout fisherman. We've got the Coach boats. They're fantastic for getting out with a family. Nice lay-down beds, all with that legendary Honda motor on them.
Check them all out. They're waiting for you. You can see how you can be on the water with Honda or with Coach Pontoon Boats. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by TopDressing.com. The defending national champion Florida men's basketball team will visit Duke in the ACC SEC Challenge on Tuesday, December 2nd. ESPN has announced Florida and Duke will meet for the first time since the Phil Knight Invitational Championship game in November of 2017. It also marks UF's first visit to Durham since 1998. UF's most recent victory in the series came in the NCAA Sweet 16 versus a number 1 Duke team in 2000 on the way to Florida's first national championship game appearance. Florida Gators men's basketball also has announced their matchup against rival Florida State. That will be on November 11th with a tip-off time to be announced at a later date. Currently 85 degrees at 11 o'clock, time in 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, hour 2 and the final hour of the week for Jaguars Today. Thanks for hanging with us. Hopefully most of the week long. Dylan, listening to RJ's update about Florida and Florida State scheduling their basketball matchup. Do you remember the Milk Challenge? We take that as a no.
No.
Milk Challenge.
We drink the milk.
No. I'm talking about that. Yes, that is.
Oh, a basketball tournament.
A milk challenge. Yeah, I don't know why it was called that. It must have been sponsored by the dairy farmers. I don't know.
Okay.
But it used to be that, like in the 90s, Florida State and Florida would play basketball the night before the football game. And
yes, I remember that.
It was dubbed the Milk Challenge. I don't know why.
That's pretty cool. I've never heard of that.
Probably
but I know they
reason
used to play the day before.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
you made a weekend out of it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
that'd be
shit.
cool.
You take in that, you get into town early if you're the opposing fan base, you watch the hoops, and then you watch the football.
The gridiron.
The gridiron, Tommy.
That's right.
We're watching the golf right now. More carnage, another bogey for Scheffler. Doesn't seem like he's got his A game this week, Dylan.
No, I'm looking. I Googled Florida State Milk Challenge, and 2 articles from 1992 and 1993 pull up.
I told you, it's in the 90s, man. I just I didn't know how far it lasted. I don't know when they stopped calling it that or when the sponsorship ended, but I just remember that growing up. That was kind of a thing.
I think it's a cool concept. I mean, why not do that? Think about like Florida Georgia weekend, throwing a basketball game.
Right.
You got
they do the baseball. They've done the baseball the last couple of years.
Yeah, they have done the baseball. That's right.
Yeah, that's true. You're not necessarily even playing basketball by the time. Maybe you are, but
you're starting,
early,
right?
You're not playing your conference schedule though.
Right.
At that point, by the time they have the Florida Georgia game here,
right,
you're not into conference play in the SEC in basketball.
No.
So it would be you'd have to kind of break the mold of what everybody else is doing.
All right, scratch that idea. Stick with baseball.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Right.
One conference game early in the schedule.
Yeah,
anyway,
why not?
Let's focus on the Jacksonville Jaguars on the gridiron the last 3 days practicing. So let's focus on the quarterback here for this next few minutes. Here's Liam Cohen on the growth he has seen from Trevor Lawrence this offseason.
Yeah, I think just calling a play, right? Like you go out here on day 1 of phase 2 and you're calling plays, and whether it be a call it and run it play or a play with 2 calls or a play with 2 calls and maybe a third adjustment, just his ability to go in and command the huddle, call plays, communicate to his teammates, make protection adjustments. I mean, our defense, like I mentioned the other day, has thrown so many different blitz packages at us that multiplicity is great. It'll be really good for our foundation this fall, but he has to think every single play. Like, there's not a ton of plays that he can just shut his brain off and go hand it off. So that has been a huge kind of adjustment in some ways, but also growth, where he's shown the ability to go get us in the right plays, can to the right call, and make the proper calls. I think that's where you've seen the most growth.
Again, Tom, you can't make full judgments at this time in the offseason, but you've been out to a lot of practices now that have been open when available. What have been your impressions of Trevor Lawrence this offseason?
Well, I'm not in the huddle, so I can't, hear that. But I know Liam had said that earlier. That's what he was looking for out of Trevor during these OTAs and the mini camp. Look, not every pass is going to be perfect. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking to see that he can run the offense, knows the calls. So it sounds like he's doing that. I thought Trevor was okay. I mean, he's typical Trev. Like, he'll make a great throw that you'll be like, wow, like the one to Brian Thomas Jr. yesterday. And then there'll be some throws you're like,
that should have been a layup.
How'd you miss that?
Yeah.
Like, why are you missing that? Look, I think at least from my just watching, and pretty close to it, especially when they were coming into the red zone, I think Liam would agree, and I haven't talked to Liam, but I just my assessment, I think he's just got to be quicker with his decisions when he's going to let go of that football. And I think that's what Liam's looking for. And I think when that comes together, and keep in mind, this is new. So I'm not worried. I'm just saying, because there was a couple plays the past couple days where the guy he's waiting till he breaks, right? He talked about anticipation yesterday. There's a little bit of that throw to Brian Thomas Jr. There was some anticipation there. He put it in a spot where he knew Brian Thomas was going to be. There were other throws where he, to me, waited a little bit, split second too late, threw it. DB makes a good play on the ball, right? It's just, I think it's more timing than anything, and just being. And it starts with the footwork, like Liam's saying, being able to open those hips up, point that foot, drive through the ball, and get it out. His release looks quick. I mean, he's throwing some ropes that you're like, oh, I would not want to try to catch that. Might break
sleeve is not a concern.
No. He's throwing fire. There's no doubt. So I think if they clean that up, and that it'll just be better accuracy, better ball placement. I think he should be fine.
All right, couple from Trevor Lawrence himself. Is he happy with how he has been running the new offense?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Some good days, some days were a little sloppier, and that's part of it, especially a new system, a lot of new guys. Everyone's playing together kind of for the first time. For a lot of us, really good. I thought we learned a lot, took some really big steps of improvement throughout OTAs, and I'm proud of the guys, how they worked. Everyone, worked their tail off all off season, really pushed ourselves. There's a lot of times where this is a period where some people can kind of take it easy, and I felt like every day we really came out here, busted our ass and really were intentional about what we were doing.
Trev, here that's full-throated. That's hardcore talk from our young Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's part of the job description, right? I mean, your OTAs are very important. Your minicamp is when it really gets real.
Right, but how many times? And that's why I'm so glad. Again, I've said this all week, and maybe I'm overplaying it. I'm so glad that they actually practiced yesterday. How many times you hear
we gave
about,
the day off,
we gave the last day OTAs, last day minicamp off. No, there's too much work to do when you've got new on both sides of the ball.
To be honest, I think the receivers and QB should stay and just work on the timing and chemistry. They may go somewhere and get away, but they should definitely be working on that, man. Just because it's new.
Yeah. Trevor said he's going to be throwing a bunch as often as he can with a lot of these guys. What about how much he feels he has come along in terms of learning that offense from where he began the offseason to now?
Like I've said, changed some of my footwork, so I feel a lot more comfortable with that. Just some subtle changes. I think footwork, my eyes, just where I'm starting, using my eyes as a weapon, manipulating the defense. I thought there was some great stuff on tape throughout the spring of me being able to do that and the ways I wanted to. So that was a big step. Just overall being comfortable with the system, not thinking as much. When you hear a play call, it's not like I'm straining to think about what I'm doing. At first when you get the system, that you're kind of doing that, but towards the end it felt a lot more second nature and felt like I could just go and play and communicate and move fast.
All right, well, one more here from the quarterback of the Jaguars. You mentioned offensive line is question mark. We don't know, right? And so he was asked what he's learned about the offensive line group during this process of learning this new offense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that a little bit. I think not totally, though. I think it's still important just for communication, identification with the defense, working games, passing off games. Yes, the physical side of some of the one-on-one blocks. I think the defensive line is always at an advantage when you're in no pads. It's hard. There's nothing to grab onto. There's nothing to really anchor in on. So that's difficult. But as far as just the mental part of the game, your steps, your footwork, getting to linebackers, being physical, violent with your hands, all that stuff, I think the guys have been awesome. They've been great. And yes, there's some stuff to clean up, but that's for all of us. So, I'm excited. Obviously, you learn a lot more once the pads go on, 100%. But I think those guys took some big steps. And like I said, the system puts a lot on those guys up front to really communicate and know what they're doing. And there's a lot of adjustments, and it gives us a lot of answers, but you have to know it. And I think those guys have done a great job of being prepared.
Again, we won't know. Training camp will open our eyes to a lot more of this. But, we asked D-Rock about which one of these incumbent offensive linemen is going to get the biggest challenge for his job. He said he would have said Ezra Cleveland prior to this week. Now he feels like it might be Anton Harrison. What is your opinion on whether it's Little, Cleveland, or Harrison is going to get the biggest push?
I think
spot?
Cleveland's going to be the left guard. To be honest,
you said that,
but again, I want to see Wyatt in pads. I want to see. We've seen Ezra in pads, but I think he did okay last year. I think his physicality was okay last year. I think he got better as the year went on. I think he understands what they're looking for out of him, as an offensive lineman. I think Anton's in a real fight for his job. Look, mini camps matter. It's not written in ink, but it's written in pencil. So if you're in a battle for that first spot,
it's still written.
It's
right.
still written, and someone goes out first.
Right.
Someone goes out first. So, you're in a real battle there. I think there's a quiet battle at left tackle, but I don't think anybody's really emerged. I don't think anyone's making a run yet. But again, when the pads come on, that might change.
What is the battle to you? Is it Walker Little versus Fred Johnson, or is it broader than that?
No, I think that would be probably it. Maybe
those guys.
Yeah. Unless they're going to give Adoga a shot at left, but I don't think so. I think he's more on the right side.
I haven't
for the most part.
seen any inclination that Anton's going to be competing on the left side.
No, you haven't seen that at all.
So,
look, I think like what Coach Cohen said. He's like, when he wants to, he's got it. So he know. What's great about that as a player, you
control it.
You control it. You know what they're looking for. And when they tell you, hey, this guy, when he's on, he's on. Well, then the light bulb goes on. And you go, I got to be on all the time, and then I'll be that guy. So that's what they're hoping for. And I think it's great that they have competition. And, look, going through a coaching change in college, same as, pro, as far as it's a clean slate. You got to earn that job. You got to win that job. And they're not going to care too much about what you did in years past and where you did it. It's about what you're doing now and how you're going to help this team win. So it's a good position for these players to be in.
All right, let's come back, talk or hear from a guy who knows all about high-level offensive line play. Tony Vaselli, Executive Vice President of the Jags, joined Dan Hicken this morning on the drill. We'll get some thoughts from Tony about how physical camp's going to be, expectations for Travis Hunter, and how the whole brain trust is working together right now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That and more coming your way on Jaguars Today right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. There's a certain romance to radio play-by-play.
We need you to be all strong and hot.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text KETTLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text KETTLE to 321-321. That's KETTLE to 321-321.
Looking for summer fun the whole family can enjoy? Check out Wick, a candle bar. Make your own custom candles and body care products in store at Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Get tips from PGA pros on Brunch with the Tour with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation and Apex Roofing and Contracting. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Yo, E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar, Twin Peaks. Scratch kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge. Come on, somebody.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories, and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, going to hear from Big Bo here, the Executive Vice President of your Jacksonville Jaguars, in just a moment. He joined Dan Hicken this morning on the drill. Did we allow that, Dylan? I guess
we did, yes. We gave him the contractual obligation.
We had Baselli on, like a month ago.
Right.
And what happened? The drill's not going to happen. Like, Tony's allowed to go on any show he wants.
All right. Where they were claiming him.
Right. Nobody's claiming anybody. And, Tony obviously was a host of the drill for many years.
That's right.
And so anyway, it was great to hear him this morning with Dan. Great that Dan had Coughlin on yesterday. I was telling you before we came on that I'd never heard, at least I don't remember hearing, that the league did apologize for the Miles Jack wasn't down play. They admitted it should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
And Tom basically said, well, then I replied to their reply.
Yep.
And said, basically do better. Like, you don't understand what that would have meant to this franchise, this city, this organization, the fan base.
Yep.
New England's been there, done that. Good for them. They got it. They didn't earn that one.
Right.
They didn't earn that one.
That was the Brady. Evan Brady got him to get the call.
It still could have stopped them. Well, they wouldn't have had to.
Well, we don't know.
And it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, we don't even know. Anyway.
Anyway. We'll get to Baselli coming up here in a moment.
Game of inches.
Calm myself down, Tommy. Why don't we take a quick look around the NFL?
Let's do it.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach.
AB, what the hell are you doing? Antonio Brown wanted for alleged attempted murder after an incident. What was that, Dylan, about a month ago at a boxing event, right?
Yeah, that was about in May with some YouTubers.
I heard that, a lot of people immediately said, watch the video, man. It was like 7-on-1. It was self-defense. What I read, now, I don't know. I'm not sitting on his jury. I don't know, but what I read as a recap yesterday was that he was in a fight, particularly with one guy, and it seemed to be over with. And AB ran off and grabbed a gun off a security guard. Because you'd wonder, how does he get a gun into a boxing event,
right?
And he ran and grabbed the security guard's gun and fired 2 shots at the guy. People are out of control, man. You think you can just do things without any consequences in today's life.
It's not a video game.
It is not a video game.
It's not.
It's not Grand Theft Auto.
It's not your Twitch stream. It's not whatever. Where half that crap is all staged anywhere. More than that is probably staged. Anyway, Antonio Brown is now wanted
man
for attempted murder. I don't know how hard they've had to look for him or whatever, but they've taken about a month to decide whether or not to charge him. That's a pretty serious charge.
What a fall, man. That guy was like one of the greatest wide receivers going.
Dude, he was on the cover of Madden not even 6
good.
years ago.
He had like a 7-year run that was as good as pretty much anybody not named Jerry Rice, and probably comparable to Jerry Rice in that
unbelievable
period of time as well. See if I can dig up the year by years on Antonio Brown here, Tommy. How about this? Oh, my gosh.
He was insane.
110 catches for $14.99. That started it in his 4th year. Then 129 for $1,698. 136 for $1,834. By the way, he's scoring 8, 13, and 10 touchdowns in these seasons.
AB.
106 for $1,284 and 12. 101 for $1,533 and 9 more touchdowns. 104 for $1,297 and 15 touchdowns. That was a 6-year run that Antonio Brown had.
That's like Tyreek Hill stuff.
That's beyond Tyreek Hill stuff. I mean, with the 6 years in a row of that?
No.
Holy smokes, man.
What a shame.
Anyway, that's where he's at right now. A few other things. Alaric Jackson, who is starter for the Rams, offensive tackle, dealing with blood clots, similar to what he had in 2022. So keep an eye on that situation. They went out and signed former Gator DJ Humphries.
I saw that.
To add some depth there. So I think that is an indication they're a little bit concerned. Mike Tomlin reportedly not concerned about T.J. Watt missing minicamp. He's confident the deal will work itself out, although he's not sure what the timetable will be. And then finally, the Colts are going to induct their late owner Jim Irsay into the Ring of Honor prior to their opening week game this season. And that's some of the stuff that's happening around the National Football League. All right, let's hear from Big Bo here, Tommy, the executive vice president of the Jags. And he, like everybody else, is excited about what he has seen from Travis Hunter.
But when it comes to Travis, very excited. I mean, excited about what it's going to look like when we go get pads on and he continues to learn and can play even faster because it's second nature. And that takes time. I mean, I remember my rookie year. You come in, pressure, expectations, and at the same time you're trying to learn, the system. Heck, I only had to learn one side of the ball.
Right.
And you don't feel like you're at where you're able to just let loose because you're still processing. You hear a play, you're going to the line of scrimmage, and as you're sitting there listening to the snap count, which is new, especially for these guys now coming from college because all they did is clap. So now all of a sudden you have a snap count that – and now you have two plays and they're changing the play and you're trying to process all that, look at a defense. And then naturally what happens, your ability to go play fast and let loose just isn't there because your mind, is too much in the way. When you really see the full physical talent, athletic ability, ability to be a football player is when all that becomes second nature. When you hear it, it automatically computes like a computer. It's instantaneously. As the words come in, a picture's drawn, you understand it, and you go play. Our guys aren't there yet. I mean, they shouldn't be. You wouldn't expect that. And so looking forward as Travis and all our guys continue to dive into the playbook, understand it, I think we're just going to get better and better and play the game faster and faster.
Tom, yesterday was the first day that Travis Hunter split duties in the same practice. Right? Yeah. And Liam Cohen said that's going to be more the norm now because they got to get there. I think all this hype and attention, and I saw Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero do a video the other day where they acknowledge NFL Network is probably talking about the Jags 10 times more than they typically would be, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's going to go even to a higher level.
Yeah.
When you get these training camp practices that are going to be open, you're going to get visiting national media that rotate through like they do at all the camps. And Travis Hunter's out there first half of practice catching passes, second half defending passes, and you realize this is happening. This is, we're a month or 5 weeks away from this thing going down.
That's a special kind of player that can do that. Right, and to be able to witness that and see that, I think we're all going to be in awe of the young man.
Can't wait to see it. One more here from Baselli. You talk about physical play, and we'll know more about the offensive line, defensive line when we get into training camp. Tony was asked by Dan Hicken this morning on the drill here on 1010XL just how physical camp will be.
It's going to be a physical camp.
Okay, as physical as you can allow it to be. Or?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, that's Liam. I mean, that's who Liam is.
Okay.
I mean, Liam he's a competitive, tough-minded individual who has a lot of energy and thinks football's supposed to be played a certain way. And I think that'll be reflected on how we practice. Now, there are rules and parameters that we have to follow, and we obviously will follow those, and we're going to take care of our guys. And I think the most important thing in camp is that we're doing things at that time, no different than the period we just went through, to organize and to have an approach that does one thing and one thing only, gets us ready and prepares us to have the opportunity to win games in September. And I think that's the approach of camp as well. And as we've put together the schedule, as Liam sat down with his staff and looking at the time we have and when we can get here and our preseason schedule and getting ready for opening day here against the Panthers, I think the approach has been, pretty simple from the standpoint. It's like, all right, how do we make sure that we're ready to go?
Right.
And that we're prepared to go out there. We've done what it takes. We've built the foundation, and now we're ready to go and try to win a ball game opening weekend and be ready for 17 games.
Man, first game of the season doesn't dictate necessarily everything that's going to follow, but that just feels so big, man. You got Carolina coming into your house.
Yeah.
Start the new regime off on the right foot.
Yeah, with the same, they came in the same year as us, right?
Absolutely.
So that's,
and they're going to be looking at it the same way, by the way. We could steal a road win right out of the gates against a team that's got newness on all around on both sides of the ball. So it's the NFL. They can all beat you in any given week.
Absolutely.
But, that's one that you better get under your belt.
Remember last year? It was last year. And Carolina was terrible. And they took KC to the wire. Like 20-19. Like late in the year.
Yeah.
And you're just like, huh? But it can happen.
Yeah, they were playing better down the stretch.
No, they were.
Last year.
For sure.
Bryce Young had a nice bounce
he got
back
it together. Yeah, we'll see if he can. Yep.
All right, a little bit more from Cohen, maybe more from Baselli on the other side. We're going to wrap things up, look at the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day on your favorite Father's Day memories with your dad or your own children if you are a dad. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. This U.S. Open update on 1010XL is brought to you by TopDressing.com.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 125th U.S. Open Golf Championship. Stay in the game all off-season with NFL Plus. Subscribe at plus.nfl.com. Terms and conditions apply. 34-year-old J.J. Spawn held the overnight lead at Oakmont Country Club. A bogey-free 66, placing him at 4 under, 1 better than Tristan Lawrence, 2 better than Siwoo Kim. They all played early. They'll be in the afternoon wave today. Victor Hovland made a run in the morning, played his first 8 in 4 under, gave it back on the front. The back 9 playing about 3 shots easier than the front this week. Hovland is now at -1. So Spawn at 4 under, Lawrence at -3, Sam Burns at -2, and Siwoo Kim at 2 under par. With this U.S. Open report, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
The Jeep brand has always stood for American freedom. And now we're standing with you with Employee Pricing Plus. Hurry into your Jeep brand dealer for details today and join the family. Jeep, there's only one. Offer valid on select 2024 and 2025 Jeep brand vehicles for non-FCA employees and retirees. $200 admin fee applies. Not all buyers will qualify. Restrictions apply. Does not apply to leases. Ends 6/30/25. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
A chipped windshield can turn into a big problem fast. Lauren Brooks here. Trust Novus Glass of Jacksonville for expert repair and replacement. Call 904-289-2905 for Novus Glass in Orange Park. 904-289-2905.
They were right. It could have waited. I can't believe it happened to me. Reaching to check my phone. Now my family has to hear that I'm never coming home again.
Officer?
I'm so sorry.
I have some very sad news to share with you.
Every day, 9 people on Florida roadways don't make it home. I was one of the people that didn't make it home.
Ride with Do Not Disturb. Every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Are you experiencing high energy bills? Now is the time to upgrade your old inefficient windows and doors. Don't miss Renewal by Andersen's 30th anniversary sale. For a limited time, buy one, get 130% off all windows and patio doors. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com now to take advantage of this incredible offer. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Renewal by Andersen. Superior products, exceptional service. Restrictions apply. License number CGC 1527613.
Jacksonville Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating's my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph has been a legend on-road. They've branched out to their off-road division as well. Give us the latest on what you can find on the asphalt.
They've got some great new products. They've got the Scrambler 400s you can get into for a little less than you might think. It's a great price point bike, but still a Triumph.
So affordability is also part of the equation.
It is, and it looks good, and it rides good.
CyclesofJacksonville.com, or check them out on their Facebook page. The showroom ready and waiting for you on Atlantic near Regency at Cycles of Jacksonville.
If a birthday or an anniversary is looming in your future, take care of it today by ordering a floral arrangement online at CuneFlowers.com. Hi, Flying Jacko here. Take it from me. An arrangement from Cune Flowers works like magic.
Pacifico, discovered by accident.
Yeah, the story goes, a group of friends went down to Mexico looking for some legendary waves. They never found them. But what they did find was something even better. An unforgettable Mexican lager.
Where'd you hear that?
Tell your next great story with a friend and a delicious Pacifico Mexican lager.
Pacifico, find your own way.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, down the stretch we come here on Jaguars Today. All right, just checking prices there, Dylan, for our July golf outings. It's come down about $75.
All right.
Still got some work to do.
Yeah.
It's still got some movement to come right now. Grand Cypress in Orlando, Tom. You like to make a once a year pilgrimage down there and play their links course.
Yeah, you like that place.
Freaking unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's always empty, too.
Really?
When I go. Always empty. Or there are a handful of people out there. It's never packed.
Right.
Love that. I'm going to get a little golf this weekend myself.
Good.
What's your plan? So you got dad bods
tomorrow. Dad bods tomorrow night. And then Sunday's just chill day.
Chill with the fam.
Yep. Chill with the family. Probably hit the beach and have a family dinner, I would imagine.
All right. Yep. We'll get to today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day coming up. Just a couple more pieces of audio. This will be it for the week that you'll hear from us here on Jaguars Today. Liam Cohen What does the coaching staff work on right now? All right, minicamp's done, OTAs are done. What is your focus as you'll be preparing over the next month plus for training camp?
Continuing to trim the install and adjust our installs and say, okay, what do we really want to focus on in install 1 through 3? What do we want the next 3 installs to be? We typically go in 3s because that's how we'll kind of practice in a lot of ways with an off day. So tweak some of those, and then also getting a lot of the seasonal prep organized with whether it be the video staff, analytics, personnel. We've had a lot of those meetings already over the last few weeks, but just making sure that those things are getting a little bit tightened up and ready to go for training camp.
For you, Tom, you're a player. Going from whatever you had in the offseason, mini camps, OTAs, whatever, and that gap between then and training camp, how much more were they adding on the defensive side, or was it just honing what you already kind of knew and making sure you mastered it? When you came back to camp?
No, we just started over. So the install's already in. There may be a tweak here and there during the season, like adding a blitz, adding a front or whatever, coverage. But no, you just start over. It's actually kind of boring in the beginning because you literally start at the very basic.
We're going to do all the stuff that we kind of went over.
Right. In each practice, they add more, they add more, they add more, they add more. And then next thing you know, the whole thing's in. But, I mean, like Dom Capers had 75 blitzes that you had to know. 75. And they all had checks. So you needed to know your stuff. So, and then, repetition, that kind of thing. But, yeah, you just, you start over, and you got time to get right back into it.
How many guys can handle learning 75 blitzes and the permutations that come off of them?
The starters can.
Did they all? Did they pretty much have it?
They had to, or they wouldn't have been out there if they didn't know what was going on. But you got to know. I mean, it's it was pretty intricate.
Out of those 75 blitzes, how many actually would get called?
Okay, so that's out of the base, nickel, and dime. The 75, not just right.
Total.
It's a total. He'd probably call 10 a game, maybe?
10 a game, okay.
Yeah, I think so, maybe.
And he'd mix them
a
up.
little bit more. He'd mix them up depending on what it was.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 15 a game, 10 to 15. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. And then Dick Durant, God rest his soul, who passed earlier this year. We didn't have as many, but it was pretty intricate, Look, at that level, everybody is big, fast, and strong, and quick, and all that stuff. So what sets you apart? Your will and then your preparation.
No doubt. All right, last one we'll hear for the week. This is from Tony Baselli this morning with Dan Hicken on the drill. When on the occasions where he and Cohen and Gladstone don't agree on something, we always think they're all in lockstep. They're not always going to agree. How does that play out?
We talked through it, and then there was a lot of silence, and it was James thinking through it. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, it was his job, his decision to make the call. And so when you have clear roles and everybody respects those roles, and at the same time, the individuals come from a standpoint of valuing communication and collaboration and working together, you can have hard conversations. You can disagree. You can agree. You can walk through problems or opportunities. And because there's a respect for each other and what each of our responsibilities are, it works. Now, where you get in trouble is if all of a sudden I think I'm making the decision in the draft and, and I don't like the decision we make, and I think somehow that I should have a larger say or I should make the decision or whatever, that's not going to work.
Right.
And so there has to be a respect for each other. And the positions that Shad has put us in and the positions that Shad has asked us to lead, while at the same time understanding that he has asked us to collaborate and work together. Both can work if there's that respect and trust amongst the group.
All right. Well, there you go.
I think he just threatens them. I'm going to beat you up if you don't go my way.
I think Tony could take Gladstone. I do think he could take him.
He's like, listen, I'll take both of you out at the same time, and then whoever wins gets the decision.
Gladstone beat him in basketball.
Did he?
Not that long ago, yeah.
I'm guessing he's got a jumper then.
He must have an outside game.
Yeah, because,
Tony just said he backed him down, and then Gladstone, shot it. So.
Oh, well.
It won the basketball game. Maybe in a fist fight.
Hey, whatever. I'm sure those guys compete in everything they do. All right, Chad and Sandy real estate question today. Favorite sports memory with your father or as a father? I'll start with Denmark in there. What you got, Dylan?
I'm going to go, I could have went a couple different ways. When I saw Tiger the first time, my dad took me to the TPC. I was 2012.
Okay.
I had never seen Tiger, and Tiger hit a tee shot. I forget what hole it was, and we're in like the middle of the fairway, and the Tiger's ball rolls not even 5 yards from within me, and I'm standing right on the rope, and I just see the entire gallery walk with Tiger. That was a sight to be seen. But number one for me would probably be my first Braves game. I was about 9 years old, and we're 2 rows behind the dugout. It's Chipper Jones. It's his birthday. I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I remember it being his birthday because after the game, he's talking with the reporter after the game, after they beat the Florida Marlins. He tosses his batting glove up. The adult beside me catches it, and he gave it to me, and I still have it to this day.
Nice.
So Braves' first game, getting Chipper Jones' batting glove probably be my number one memory.
That's a pretty good one.
Taking me to with a sporting event, yeah.
Tommy, what do you got?
I've got a lot of them, but I'll just condense it. I think for me as a son, anytime my dad approved of my game made me feel great. Like
Get the nod, the handshake.
His opinion meant more to me than any coach that I ever had, even Coughlin, and no disrespect to Coughlin. But my dad knew the game. He knew how to play the game. He knew how I should be playing the game. And when he would tell me, great job, he pulled me aside after we played Michigan in 91. I had a monster game. We lost, but I had a monster game. And he pulled me aside down the hallway, and he's like, I'm really proud of you, Tommy. You played this game the way it's supposed to be played. He's like, you keep playing. You're going to be in the NFL. And it was the first time he ever said that I think you can make it to the NFL.
That's awesome.
And that meant a lot. So that was always great. I always love those moments. But for me as a dad, watching my girls, it's not sports, but you have to be very athletic to dance. Mm-hmm. And those dancers go through a lot that athletes go through, a lot of bruises. You got to be in great shape. It's very difficult. You got to remember everything. You got to learn quickly. And I'm just really proud of them, man, because they work at it and they have such a passion for dance and performing that it's awesome when they do it. When they compete and dance, when they, do their recitals or what have you, just watching them, man, it just brings me great joy because I know how bad they love it or how much they love it and how bad they want it and how hard they work at it. So that makes me feel great as a dad.
Yeah, I love coaching my son, as a coach. And go ahead and fire it up, Dylan.
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
We got it in under the wire. I'll say, to me, probably my favorite, and I have a picture of it. My wife brought Colin when he's probably, 2, something like that. He was a little toddler, and I was calling games for the Suns back then, and I was calling professional baseball with my son sitting on my lap. This is like the peak of human existence to me. It was just, I don't know, it's something about that moment. Anyway, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there and to all the folks whose dads are living or not. I hope you have some great memories and hope you make some new ones this weekend. That's going to do it for us this week. But before we say goodbye, let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Hello, Taylor. How are you?
Hello. Happy Father's Day, guys.
You're all cubbed up.
You, Taylor.
Over there.
You got the
Thank you very much.
How come they don't say duck cubs? They say duck bears.
Duck Cubs.
I don't know.
Cubs.
There probably is a shirt or two out there, but they should say that more.
I would imagine. What's coming up today?
Yeah, so we started yesterday. We're taking a little look around the AFC South as camps wrap up league-wide. And so yesterday we talked to a Colts guy. Today we're going to talk to Nick Suss. He covers the Titans. And then also James Roy. He covers the Texans. Get some of the looks of what's going on quarterback-wise. There's a lot of quarterback questions around the AFC South. So we're going to take a look at that. We also are going to go through our rankings of position groups here in Jacksonville for the Jags that we are most to least confident in. So we're going to go through that, get some thoughts from the listeners and everybody, and see kind of how different of opinion that looks like right now.
All right. There you go. That guy sounds sus to me. I don't know about you.
Titans fan, very sus.
Definitely. Well, Taylor, have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You guys
too. Thank you, and a great show today. Thank you very very much. All right, there you go. I wanted to get. I didn't want to rush Taylor out, but we got U.S. Open leaderboard update coming. We got a lot to do here, and they want to get their show underway.
That's right.
Thanks to D-Rock for joining us today. Go check out his piece over at ESPN.com on Travis Hunter. That is out there. Thanks to all the folks that we had join us this week. Hope Tony Smith had a good week off. He'll be back with us Monday. Tommy Mack,
yes, sir.
Happy Father's Day to you
Same
and your
to you,
clan.
Same
to you, Dylan Denmark, and all the listening audience. For Dylan, great job this week. We'll be back Monday with more Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever.
Jaguars Today.